Yes, my people, it is your boy VRD, and apologies if you can hear my washing machine hammering away in the background. Somebody decided to start it up just before I was about to commence recording this intro, but hey ho. So, in part one of our commentated drive, we took a Thameslink Class 700 out of Gillingham Depot and up to Higham Station. I suggest you go and watch that now if you haven't seen it already. Part two, we're going to be continuing onwards from Higham Station towards Dartford. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Right, we have a green signal aspect. No one is boarding the train, as we can see in the CCTV monitors. But we can't actually see, but I'm pretending to be able to see that. I pressed the door close button, door interlock light has illuminated. Final glance at the signal, still green. FNR switching to forward, 25% power. Brake cylinder gauge reading falls to 0. Final glance of the monitors and straight into 100% power due to the fact that the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. The next station is Gravesend, which is about 4 miles from here, 4 or 5 miles. It's quite far away. Now, between here and Gravesend Station, we are going to pass a total of 3 whistle boards. Normally, these whistle boards prompt you to sound a low tone of the horn. However, because it is 5:24 a.m., we are not permitted to sound the horn. Use of the horn at whistle boards is only permitted between 6 a.m. and midnight. So from 6 a.m. onwards, you can sound the horn at whistle boards. However, before 6 a.m., you can't. The reasons for that are quite obvious. Acknowledging the vigilance alert there. So here's the first whistle board now. We're going to ignore that. We're up to 60 miles an hour. This is Hugh Junction Freight Yard. Up to 65 miles an hour. We're now approaching the second whistle board. Here it is now, and again, just ignoring that. Now that we're up to about 68 miles an hour, I've just reduced the accelerational force percentage down to 25%. That should maintain us at 70 miles an hour. And you can see our third whistle board coming up in the distance. Once again, we are going to ignore that. Acknowledging the vigilance alert. I am so tired, it's unbelievable. Okay, so we have a warning board coming up for a speed reduction down to 50 miles an hour. Once we pass this warning board, I'm going to shut off the power and I'm going to make a 25% brake application as we pass underneath this footbridge coming up. So I'm now making a 25% brake application, and that should bring us down for the 50 mile an hour speed limit in good time. Down to 60 miles an hour. 55. Down to 50 and releasing the brakes. And we have an additional warning board for a speed reduction down to 30 miles an hour. So once we hit this straight section of track, I'm going to make a 25% brake application at the second bridge. And that should bring us down for 30 miles an hour. So here's the second bridge now. Making a 25% brake application. I'm going to momentarily increase that to 50% even. Back down to 25%. I'm down for the 30 mile an hour speed limit, bang on. We're now approaching Gravesend Station. So on entry into the platform, just going to make a 25% brake application. And the stopping position here at Gravesend is right at the end of the platform. So it's just a continuous light application of the brakes to help us achieve our stop here at Gravesend. Never mind, I'm going to momentarily increase the braking force to 50% and reduce it back down to 25 and even below 25. However, we're at 25% for the stop. Full service into neutral, doors on the left. Now the timetable is going to get extraordinarily tight. I'm honestly going to start driving so aggressively. You guys are going to see what I mean. At Northfleet Station, which is the... Whoa, it's raining? Oh yeah, of course, I have the dynamic weather switched on, which is unfortunate. Right, I'm going to turn the windscreen wiper switch to the intermittent position. So the wiper should clear the windscreen every couple of seconds. Okay, so we have a green signal. Checking the monitors, no one's boarding the train. Pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated, no one's trapped in the doors. Final glance of the signal, still green. F&R switch into forward. 25% power. Brake cylinder gauge reading falls to 0. And the final glance of the monitors. Now going to increase the power to 75%. Now because it started raining, I'm going to maybe drive a bit more cautiously but aggressive at the same time because of the tight timetable. So it's just finding that nice amount of balance. Speed limit is still 30 miles an hour, by the way. That's why I've only taken 75% power. You can see the board for the commencement of a 70 mile an hour speed limit. That speed limit is going to last us all the way up until the approach to Dartford station. So you can see we've reached 30 miles an hour, so I've momentarily moved the PBC into the off position, but the rear of our train should now be clear of the 70 board, so I'm applying full power to accelerate up to that speed. The next station is Northfleet, which is in about 2 miles, which is about 2 miles away. Just acknowledging the vigilance alert there. Vigilance alert. Trying my best to speak clearly, but it is quite difficult because of my blocked nose. Right, so this is Springhead Junction that we're approaching now. Around here is a good time to get the brakes in for Northfleet Station. The track that's just turned off to the left takes you onto the Channel Tunnel rail link and up to St Pancras International. Just increasing the braking force up to 50%. Again, being very cautious because of the wet conditions. Just reducing that braking force down to 25. The the experience of driving in wet conditions and just low adhesion conditions in general, it hasn't been simulated too well in train sim world. From what I understand, the best method of driving in those conditions would be to use 25% of the train's braking force primarily and only use 50% at lower speeds, so maybe below 50 miles an hour or so, and try not to be in 50% for too long. That seems to be the best way to go about braking in conditions like this, so that's what I'm going to do. Oi, 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 oi. Yeah, you see what I'm saying about the timetable. We're already a minute late, and I was driving literally as fast as I could. Anyway, green signal, checking the monitors, no one's trapped, whacking the door close button. Come on, three more stops. Four more stops, I mean, four. Door interlock light illuminated, no one's trapped in the doors. Final glance of the signal, F1R switch into forward. 25% power, observing the brake cylinder gauge reading full to zero, taking a final glance of the monitors to ensure no one's being dragged along, and full power. That's bad. That is bad. I shouldn't be taking full power like that in wet conditions. However, the Class 700s in particular do not slip too often in wet conditions because of their something to do with their, I think it's their weight. Their weight is a contributory factor to that, and also their just their overall mechanics, their traction motors, I believe, are quite high quality. They have a very advanced WSP system as well, so you're not going to slip too much in a Class 700. Anyway, Swanscombe Station is our next stop and is coming up fast, very fast. Too fast for my liking. We've entered at 40 miles an hour, which is not good. However, we're still going to stop before the end of the platform, which is all that matters. So you can see I was in 50% braking there. I've reduced it down to 25 as we get closer to the stopping position. I've now further reduced it down to an almost released state and back up to 25 for the stop. Lovely. Full service, neutral, doors on the left. And we have a class 66 coming up. That is most likely heading down to Hugh Junction. I'm loving them sounds. That sounds very realistic. Anyway, this green signal, no one's boarding, pressing the door close button. Door interlock light has illuminated, taking a final glance at the signal, also checking no one's trapped in the doors. F&R switch into forward, 25% power, observing the brake cylinder gauge reading full to zero. Final glance of the monitors, up to 50%. We're going to do this properly now. Up to 50%. Just going to wait there for a bit. And now up to 100%. So yeah, in wet conditions, by stepping up your power applications like that, you're just preventing your chance of getting into a slip. So wheel slip is when you're accelerating, wheel slide is when you're braking. So yeah, stepping up your accelerational force helps prevent wheel slip from occurring. The next station is Greenham. I'm not sure if I said that already, but I've said it now. And the breaking point for Greenham station is the next signal. So as we enter this left hand curve, begin looking out for the signal. Here's the banner repeater associated with said signal, and we can see the signal itself. So I'm now acknowledging the vigilance alert and making an immediate 25% brake application. Down to 50 miles an hour. 45. Just increasing the braking percentage up to 50%. Down to 35 and then 30. So reducing the braking force down to 25% again. And just bouncing between 25 and 50% as we get closer towards the end of the platform here at Greenham, which is where our stopping position is situated. We're coming up on that a bit fast. Oh, blimey. Alright, so I've momentarily went up into 50% and then brought it back down to 25% for the stop, which helped prevent us from doing something that I was not trying to do at all. So, full service, neutral, doors on the left. Yeah, that could have ended quite badly, but again, luckily the Class 700s have rather good brakes, shockingly good brakes, almost unrealistically good brakes. The Class 700s, they're just, when you think about it, they're honestly just oversized trams. That's the way I see them. The way they look on the outside, the way they look on the inside, the way they handle, they're just oversized trams. It's so weird. I remember my first time seeing one of these things in real life. I was like, what on earth is this? Or like, what is this? And then I went inside and sat on the chairs. I was like, this is literally a tram. It's a tram, bro. Anyway, green signal, pressing the door close button, checking the monitors. Like I said in the other video, the order that you're doing this stuff in doesn't really matter as long as you do all of these checks before departing. So door interlock light illuminated, green signal again, F&R switch into forward, 25% power, brake cylinder gauge reading falls to 0, a final glance of the monitors, 75% power. Once we reach about 15 miles an hour or so, I'll up the power to 100%. Just doing that now. Speed limit is still 70 miles an hour, and the next station is Stone Crossing, which is not too far from here. Once we reach about 50 miles an hour or so, I'm going to make a 25% brake application. And the rain has now stopped, so I'm going to turn off the windscreen wiper. So up to 50 miles an hour, I've shut off the power and have made an immediate 25% brake application. You can see the platforms of Stone Crossing Station coming up here. Down to 40 miles an hour, and I'm increasing the braking force up to 50% very briefly. Back down to 25% as we enter the station here at 30 miles an hour, I beg your pardon. The stopping position is the second to last CCTV monitor from the end of the platform. So not this one here, this other one coming up. So just been using primarily 25% of the train's braking force to help us achieve our stop here at Stone Crossing, momentarily releasing the brakes and back up to 25% for the stop. Full service, neutral, doors on the left. Oh, okay, I did not know that. That's my first time discovering that. I didn't know the announcements automatically play weather announcements when it rains in game. That's nice. That's nice. Anyway, we're 2 minutes late right now. Green signal. No one's boarding. Pressing the door close button. To be honest, considering how tight this timetable is, 2 minutes late is actually a big achievement. Door interlock light has illuminated. Again, no one's trapped in the doors. Signal is still green, so F and R switch into forward. 25% power. Brake cylinder gauge reading falls to 0. A final glance of the monitors. Upping the power to 75% very briefly. Now that we're up to about 10 miles an hour, I'm upping the power to 100%. Next station is Dartford, and you can see we have a warning board coming up for a reduction down to 50 miles an hour. A reduction in the speed limit down to 50 miles an hour, I should say. I am struggling for dear life to stay awake right now. I'm telling you, it's bad. It's bad. So we've reached 50 miles an hour. I'm shutting off the power now. And you can see we have our commencement of the 50 mile an hour speed limit. We're now entering a downward gradient, so even though our speed has rolled down to 48 miles an hour, 47 miles an hour, 46 even, I'm leaving the PBC in the off position because the downward gradient will cause our speed to roll upwards towards 50 miles an hour in a sec. We also just passed a warning board with an associated audible AWS indication. That warning board is regarding a reduction in the speed limit down to 40 miles an hour. Now acknowledging an audible AWS indication regarding this double yellow signal here. Once we pass this double yellow signal, I'm going to make a 25% brake application. If that particular signal is displaying a double yellow aspect, it means you've been cleared up to the end of Dartford platform, so you're able to enter Dartford station. And as you can see, we desire Dartford platform 2, so at this signal approaching now, we need to see a number 2 in the route indication box display. Speed limit has now reduced to 40 miles an hour, but will be reducing down to 20 miles an hour shortly afterwards. However, because we're still on a steep downward gradient, I'm going to continue to decelerate down to 15 miles an hour. So we just passed the little 20 board there down at track level, telling us that our speed limit is now 20 miles an hour for the approach into Dartford station. That was quite a lot happening. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised I was able to keep up with that. And here we are at Dartford station. Remembering that we have a red signal at the end of the platform. Okay, so I'm making an immediate 50% brake application and acknowledging the audible AWS indication regarding the red signal at the end of the platform. Now reducing the braking force quite significantly just to prevent us from stopping too short, and up to 25% for the stop. Perfect. Full service, neutral. We have a red signal, so I'm setting the DRA and doors on the left. We're now surrendering control of this train to the artificial intelligence, so I'm simply going to remove the master key. Be interrupted by the game's Okay, do you know what? There wasn't there wasn't enough time for me to do what I needed to do. But what you do is remove the master key and then stand up here and disable these safety systems. I hope we're not moving. Are we moving? Okay, no, it's the other train. I thought the train was driving off with us inside of the cab. That would have just ruined the video. So yeah, that is it. Let's get out very quickly before this thing drives off with us inside. That is it for this run. We're going to just see this train off. And there we go. And the announcer's just spoken over me. Rude. So yeah, that train is now heading onwards towards Luton, I believe. I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this commentary run. Any support or constructive criticism is highly appreciated and welcome. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Love.